Forgiveness is not a lot of things. Let me tell you what it's not. It's not minimizing the seriousness of the offense. See, sometimes we think if we forgive, we're going to minimize the offense. That's not what forgiveness is. There's no part of God, no part of the Bible that says, oh, it really wasn't a big deal. Yes, it was. It was every bit of a big deal as you think it was when they did you wrong. Don't let anyone ever tell you, oh, you shouldn't cry, you shouldn't hurt. Yes, you should. Forgiveness is not minimizing the offense. To forgive is not to condone. It is not to excuse. It is not to deny. It is not to suppress. It is not to prevent or remove responsibility for the offense. And it is certainly not to prevent anyone from receiving civic due justice and penalty. Forgiveness is not about the assailant. It's about you. It is never meant to minimize the offense. Forgiveness is not about you staying in a relationship that's harming you. It's about coming up to this church and saying, I'm in a bad situation, I need some help. And let me just tell you, we will find it for you. Forgiveness is not about enduring more pain. Forgiveness is not about a lot of things. We have to think like Christ. We have to understand what forgiveness is and what it isn't. It doesn't mean denying the wounds. Even Jesus, when they took him off the cross, still had the wounds in his hands and in his feet. See, the scars never went away. But still he forgave. Something else forgiveness is not. It's not reconciliation. See, sometimes we don't want to forgive because we think, well, I can't. I don't want to reconcile because they haven't said they're sorry yet. They haven't owned up to what they did to me. It is not reconciliation. Reconciliation is a two-player game. Forgiveness is single player only. This is about you liberating yourself from the continued hostility of whatever pain you were caused. About releasing that feeling, letting it go, giving it to God. That's what forgiveness is, to send away. I'm going to send away this pain that I have in here. I'm going to send it to God. You know what else forgiveness is not? It's not about what's fair. Sometimes we don't want to forgive people. We think it's not fair. I'll just tell you, it's not fair. But you don't want fair, and neither do I. We forgive because we were forgiven. See, we don't want fair, we want grace in our own life. And that's the brilliance behind forgiveness. C.S. Lewis said, we forgive the inexcusable because God has forgiven the inexcusable in me. Because God freely forgives, we're called to freely forgive. It's not about what's fair, but we don't want fair. We want grace. And here's the last thing. This is a biggie. Forgiveness is not impossible. Some of you are convinced that you can't do it because it's so extreme, the hurt, and it's impossible. No, it's not. It may be impossible with your strength, but it's not impossible with the strength of Christ. Philippians 4, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This is not about your capacity to forgive. It's about you allowing the capacity and the strength and the courage of God through God's Spirit and Jesus Christ to be routed through you so now you can forgive. This is about accessing abilities and skill sets and exercises that you would never come up with on your own. This is about Christ.